Vandana Das. I'm so happy to be chatting with you. And you are going to be sharing with us a little bit about your journey as a female lawyer and your experience. You are a solicitor in the United Kingdom, managing director as well. So I wanted to ask, would you be able to share a little bit about your journey as a woman lawyer in your field?
Yeah, sure. So, I think I've always wanted to be a solicitor, but I also wanted to have my own business. So, I did the traditional route, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So, I qualified as a solicitor, and I think around about 3 years after I'd qualified, I decided to start Davenport Solicitors. Um, it's not always been easy, because as you can imagine, for women there's much more challenges compared to that for men, I in my opinion. So when you're employed, it's the whole, trying to stand out amongst all your peers, to show your worth, to get up the ladder. And also then you've got the challenge of juggling work and personal life. So I've got children, so that's always been a big challenge. And that challenge continues, as obviously running your own business. But it's been fun. I enjoy what I do. And I think I'll just continue to do what I feel is the right thing to do and progress.
What are some of the challenges that you've seen, maybe that you faced that your male counterparts didn't have to face?
Well, as I said, I think majority of the time, women are the prime carers for their children, and you have a mother's instinct. You always want to be there for your children, and you always have a little guilt. So you want to be able to spend that time with your children, but you also want, for me, anyways, I didn't want to give up my career. It's something that I worked really hard for, and I wanted to continue it because I always believe that, as your children are going to grow up, they're going to lead their own life, and we then will wonder what to do. And I didn't want to have any regrets. So I think the biggest challenge has been, juggling, you know, children, and work. And also, I think when you're employed, it's that challenge of obviously working up that ladder and being partner eventually. And that's the reason I'd left employment and started Davenport Solicitors, so I didn't have to deal with that.
Right, that just kind of carving your own way. And that, like you said, having your own business also brings on a whole nother set of challenges that you wouldn't have to face as an employee. How have you navigated some of these challenges?
Fortunately, I've got a very supportive husband. I've got a very supportive family around me. So that's been very, very helpful. So me and my husband would work together, and we both believe that both of us can be successful in our careers and be there for our children. And I think things have changed, over time, especially after COVID, where, working from home is not frowned upon, and a lot of people are working from home, so that's obviously helped. And obviously, as I said, me and my husband just understand that one of us has to be somewhere and the other can cover, looking after the kids. So it's a bit more of a tag team.
It also seems like there's a lot of flexibility that is happening between you and your spouse. It's, we both know that we have to kind of move a little bit, shift, be flexible with our schedule depending on what the needs are. And that's absolutely so important, because having the support system is what allows us to live, in both worlds, in our professional career as well as, in our role of the caregiver. So I love that. I love that very much.
And I think that's really important to do because, as I said, it's important for both to be successful in their careers, and unless one of them want to give up the career, that's a different story. But where both of them want to work and both have successful careers, it can be done, and it works for us.
Absolutely. And that's the most important part, is that it works, that it works for
It
the
works, yeah.
family, it
We
works for
found a way. It
everyone.
works.
Yeah. And I think that's also such a great reminder is, trying to find different ways in which it works, because one way that may work for one woman may not necessarily work for another, or for a couple. You know, it's again that flexibility of trying things out and seeing what works and what doesn't work. I love that as well. You were mentioning some of the challenges that you faced when you were an employee, and you know, you decided to move on and to start your own business. What has been some of the most amazing benefits that you've seen once you've made that transition?
Oh, so you feel, I mean, I actually felt really free. I think in the initial stages, it was very scary,
Of course.
because it's, you know, you know, that you have to give up a salary, so something that you're really relying on, and so it is scary when where you're going to get your new clients from, how you're going to build the business, and you know, doing things which I've never done before. For example, networking was something that I never did before, and I had to learn that way how to network, and how to build up relationships, long-lasting relationships, and understand how to do business. It's very different to be a solicitor and just do legal work, and on the other and doing and running a business is, they're both very different things. So it's obviously, it has been challenging, and you know, I'm constantly learning, and learning new skills, to be much more of a rounded individual. So, and that for me is really important, and it has to be exciting. You know, I don't like to do the same thing over and over again. It's got to be new. It's got to be innovative, and I want to have fun while I'm working.
Absolutely. We should have fun while we're working. We deserve
Yeah,
it.
it's so important. So important.
And so in your opinion, what are some of those key skills and key qualities that have contributed to your success as a woman lawyer and entrepreneur who owns your own business?
So determination, is, I think that's really important, because you know, you can have some good days, you can have some bad days, and so you know, you've just got to stick to it. And I think from a very young age I've been quite determined to be successful, to work hard, and know exactly what I want, and to go for it. Um, I think it's important to make sure that you know, you have you do something different, something which makes you stick out from your counterparts. So you know, I do believe in developing good relationships with clients, partners, and continuing those relationships, and developing key contacts. And it can communication skills, and whether that's with the partners, with employees, with clients. I think that's, you know, that's really important. And I think most importantly, knowledge. You know, the area that we do, we've got to be good at what we do, and people come to us because of the knowledge we have. So making sure that, you know, we are constantly keeping updated, and are able to provide the best services to our clients.
Absolutely. And you know, I think the clients also feel that as well. They feel when they're speaking with someone that's knowledgeable, that has the confidence, that can really guide them. I mean, that is why they are coming to us as their advisors, to navigate their challenges. And so I wanted to ask one final question before we go, which is, what advice would you give to aspiring women lawyers who are just starting their career, or if there's something in particular that you wish someone would have told you when you were starting your career?
Oh, well, I didn't actually have anybody, when I was, you know, when I decided to qualify as a solicitor. I had to do a lot of research myself. So there wasn't really many mentors, or I didn't know where to go to, because I didn't know anybody who would have been, you know, who had qualified as a solicitor or was, you know, working in a law firm. So I did a lot of research, and found out the route to qualification, the training contract, so understood that. If I was to give some advice to aspiring women who are either in a role as a solicitor, who aspire to be a solicitor, I think that if they really want it, no matter how many, you know, what the difficulties are, what the obstacles they may face, is to go get it, and be ready to carve their own way, because there's a lot of challenges, and sometimes it can be quite difficult. But if they really want it, just to go for it. You're on mute.
There we go. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And you know, we tend to focus a lot about on the challenges as well, especially for women in the law. What are some of the challenges that you see that are ahead that we should kind of be looking out for? And also, how do you think we can, as a collective, work towards a more inclusive and equitable legal profession to where we aren't asking about the challenges anymore?
I think it would really help if obviously men would be more mindful. I think they need to be a voice for women and promote equality, diversity, and inclusion, and that's, I think, would go a long way. I think that if it's just women raising the flag, yes, we can do that. But if men come on board as well, because men have sisters, they've got mothers, and the more they talk about it, the more that they do, the more it will help us.
Absolutely. How can we get them more on board? We are right, because we do need men to also stand with us and tell us, yes, and fight alongside us. I wouldn't necessarily say fight, but also advocate for us as well. How can we get them to be more inclusive in our journey for more equality?
I think we need to continue talking about it. And I mean, obviously, being Asian and being a woman, my family's obviously suffered far more discrimination as women. Women rights have gone a long way from when my mum was growing up, and she got married at a very young age and set up started a family, and it was the job of a woman to stay at home, look after the kids. But as time's gone on, families have encouraged their daughters and their wives and mothers to go out and work and establish a career and gain experience and knowledge. And that started from men and women who have the guts to basically say, yes, I want to do it. And then men supporting the women to do it. I mean, as I said, probably you've got two very key men in my life who've supported me, which has basically helped me do what I do, which is my father and my husband. So, it helps and it goes a long way when you've got them on board. So I think it's about talking about it, continuing to talk about it, and education. The more men understand about what they can do, the more it will help women to be successful and not having to give up their careers.
Absolutely. I mean, you were very blessed in the sense that you had the two most important male figures in your life to be offering you such support, which is the father and your husband. I mean, I can't think of a more important role for a man in a woman's life. And I love that. I love that you mentioned, that those two support pillars were really there encouraging you along the way, and being alongside of you as well. And I think that is super important, is to get the fathers and the husbands to get on board with what it is that we are looking for, which is more equality. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. I think it really also helps where as a woman you can actually stand your ground and say this is what I want to do, and and that basically at least helps them understand that actually if this is what you want to do, go for it, and support you, and that goes a long way.
Agreed. I mean, it has to come from us, that this is what we are expressing, our desire and our need. And then we rally for help. And then and this is how you can help me. This is how you can support me. And I think you made a good point, is speaking up, voicing our needs, voicing our desires. What is it that we want to see? And how is it that these people in our lives who are our support system can be that pillar for us to propel us forward. So thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time that you gave us and your wisdom as well. Thank you again.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Likewise. All right. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.